Mozambique is a unique and inspiring country that survived a civil war. This is an African country with wonderful beaches and wildlife sanctuaries. The only country in the world that has a Kalashnikov AK-47 assault rifle on its flag is Mozambique. It symbolizes protection, vigilance and, most importantly, the long struggle for freedom and self-determination. The Portuguese began colonizing the people of Mozambique in 1505, and did so for 470 years. It was not until 1975 that Frelimo, Mozambican Liberation Front, led by Eduardo Mondlane and Samora Machel, was able to defeat the Portuguese army and eventually achieve independence. The name Mozambique comes from the name of the Arab trader Musa al-Baika, who settled on the coastal island in the 15th century. At that time, the capital was located on this island until 1898, when it was moved to Maputo, which is located on the mainland. Many peoples live in Mozambique. Some ethnic groups include the Tsonga, Chua and Makonde. Portuguese is the national language, but most people speak African languages. But only about 3% of the people speak the language. And those who do tend to be well educated in coastal cities. Apart from hotels, English is rarely spoken. Maputo, the country's capital, and other cities are home to a large number of Portuguese-speaking people. Shona is the main regional language near the Zimbabwean border, while Swahili is spoken in the northwest of the country. Matriarchal families predominate in the north of Mozambique. Women are considered the heads of the family and make most of the crucial choices. Children in these families are seen as their own mothers and part of her family. Families in central and southern Mozambique are usually patriarchal. Men are considered the heads of the family and make most of the important family decisions. Children are seen as the property of the father and his family. The eldest son assumes the role of the leader of the family and is responsible for its well-being after the death of his father. Rural areas have this type of family structure more often than urban areas. The cultural heritage of Mozambique is rich and diverse. The nation is a peaceful coexistence of Bantu, Swahili, and Islamic cultures and traditions. The majority of the population consists of many ethnic groups, such as Sena, Mekua, Manyoka, Chakwi and Shangan. Europeans, Euro-Africans, and Native Americans are some other cultures. A passion for songs, poetry, colorful dances, and performances unites Mozambicans, despite the diversity of languages, social structures and creative traditions of the nation. The Makonde, a well-known tribe in Mozambique, mostly living in the Cabo Delgado region, are known for their initiation rites and fearlessness. They are well known for their mahogany, ebony and ivory carvings that represent their rich cultural past, and for their mapiko masks used in initiation rites. Only for aesthetic reasons, they make tattoos on their bodies and sharpen their teeth. The Makonde are also skilled artisans, creating exquisite woodwork, mostly mahogany, ebony or ironwood, as well as ivory carvings that often tell stories of bygone eras. The Mekua women of Nampula province paint their faces with musairo, a white root extract. Made of black wood and clay are made also straw baskets, mats and other products, as well as sculptures. The dexterity of the now dancers of Tet province is admirable. They dance to the sounds of drumming, holding huge and intimidating wooden masks in their hands. For the Chope people of Inhambane province, Timbala is both the name of a percussion instrument and a dance. Music is very important to the people of Niassa, who live in the sparsely populated northwestern region. They use wind instruments made from dry and hollow gourds that produce a sound similar to that of a trumpet. The musicians in the band play instruments of different sizes. After years of civil conflict and massive poaching, Mozambique's Gorongosa National Park, once an African paradise and considered one of the best wildlife parks in Africa, is slowly returning to its former glory. Gorongosa National Park in Mozambique, once home to numerous rare species and one of Africa's most diverse game reserves, was reduced to a desolate wasteland in the 1980s, when rival powers engaged in a protracted civil war over ivory and beef. Gorongosa National Park is a mix of different habitats, ranging from grasslands and savannas to dry forests and seasonal plains to plateau forests. It is located in the central part of Mozambique, on the southern edge of the Great Rift Valley of Africa. Originally established in 1920 as a 1,000 square meter hunting reserve for Portuguese government officials, it was designated a national park in 1960 and hunting was prohibited. Tourist photographers consider Gorongosa National Park one of the most favorite safari parks in Africa. In the 1960s, the park had a significant development of roads and visitor facilities. Some dramatic scenes of the film Blood Diamond, with the legendary Hollywood actor Leonardo DiCaprio starring, was filmed in Maputo. Blood Diamonds turned out to be a very successful film, dedicated to the realities of the illegal diamond trade in Africa. The film crew was based in Maputo for months, hundreds of jobs were created, which paved the way for many more films and TV series to be shot on location in magical Mozambique. Mozambique is often affected by cyclones during the rains. It was last hit hard by Cyclone Idai in March 2019, causing widespread destruction of infrastructure, as well as disrupting harvests and depriving more than 2 million people of their livelihoods. Climatologists had no doubt that climate warming played a significant role in creating these mega-hurricanes, the likes of which Mozambicans had never experienced before. Torrential rains and downpours caught many people by surprise, resulting in over 1,000 deaths. Heavy rains and winds devastated a large region around Beira. As a result of the storm, an inland ocean was formed, and the subsequent flood covered an area the size of the European country of Luxembourg. Ironically, fossil fuels have now been discovered off the northern coast of Mozambique, and major oil companies are now scrambling to get gas rights to make big bucks. The projects are still in the exploratory stage, but already thousands of people are being resettled. Important habitats such as Quirimba's National Park, a UNESCO biosphere reserve that includes areas of pristine coral reefs, mangroves and kelp beds, are under serious threat. As their farmlands and fishing grounds are taken over by multinational corporations, entire communities will lose their homes, land, and livelihoods. This country is most liked by Scrabble players. The Scrabble tiles are chosen so that Mozambique is a paradise for Scrabble players. There are many casinos here, where tourists come and play Scrabble. The record for the number of points in one game belongs to this country, followed by Kyrgyzstan. In 2005, scientists discovered an unknown rainforest on Mount Mabu using Google Earth and named it Google Forest. An international research team arrived in the country to explore this unexplored and untouched forest. Their findings were incredible. It was a pristine environment and rich in diversity. The team discovered new species of plants and animals, including a pygmy chameleon, and 3 new species of snakes. It should be declared a protected area, scientists say. There is a house in Maputo made entirely of iron. This house was imported as the home of Governor Rafael Jacome de Andrade in 1892. In the past, the Portuguese government wanted the governor of the colony to have a residence where he could work and live, but it was not considered that it was almost impossible to live and work in a metal building without air conditioning. Because of the iron, it became so hot inside that the governor never drove in. Currently, this iron building is used as the office of the National Directorate of Culture. In the northern coastal region and on the islands of Mozambique, it is common to see women with their faces covered by a natural white mask called a maciro or enciro. Maciro is a natural white mask that has both aesthetic and therapeutic value. Traditionally, it was worn by girls approaching marriageable age during special parties to symbolize that they were virgins, ready for marriage. Thus, potential grooms will be attracted to them, and whoever the girl falls in love with will be handed over to the girl's handlers for potential marriage negotiations. Nowadays, Masiro is used mainly for medicinal purposes, as a cleansing, softening and toning agent for the skin. The mighty Zambezi River supplied sufficient water for irrigation and provided the basis for the region's significant hydropower sector. The lush soils of northern and central Mozambique have fostered a diverse and bountiful agriculture. Unfortunately, Mozambicans have not been able to take full advantage of these natural advantages and build a stable, diverse economy due to the country's recent chaotic past. Mozambique was torn by internal conflict as a Marxist government, supported in part by the Soviet Union and Cuba, battled anti-communist forces funded by South Africa and the former Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, for control of the country. Marked by countless acts of terrorism, the war that followed displaced at least 4 million people, and killed perhaps 1 million more from the violence, hunger, and disease it produced. In 1962, representatives of Mozambican political groups in exile met in Tanganyika, now Tanzania, and formed the Socialist Front for the Liberation of Mozambique with Eduardo Mondlane as its first president. Later, this front initiated the War for Independence, which was achieved in 1975 by the Lusaka Agreement with Portugal. Near the northeastern coast of Mozambique is the Quirimba's National Park, a jewel in the African crown that few people know about. Quirimba's National Park includes most of the southern Quirimba's islands, including Bo, Medjum and Matamo, as well as a large area of coastal mangroves and forests on the mainland. In total, it occupies 7,500 square meters. Although the park's vast fauna is difficult to spot from the mainland, it is better known for its abundant bird species, rich marine life, breathtaking beaches and scattered coral islands that are home to a growing number of well-designed, eco-conscious luxury resorts. Friends, I hope you enjoyed my documentary video about Mozambique. If you want to know more interesting facts and travel stories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, press the bell to get notified about new videos. Which country you want to see in the next video, please let us know in the comments section. Thank you for your attention, and see you again on my channel.